This story is based on real-life situations. Brought to you by Mr. Detective Spooky. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future. This story was from Kyla Clinton on July 21st, 1981, the night that I will never forget. I always thought banshees were just myths, old tales to frighten children. But the night my sister Claire and I encountered one, I realized some stories are rooted in truth. It started as an ordinary evening. Claire and I had inherited our grandmother's old house, a creaky, weathered place perched on a hill. After months of fixing it up, we had finally settled in. That night, the wind howled, rattling the windows as a storm rolled in. Claire was curled up on the couch with a book, and I was in the kitchen, trying to fix a cabinet hinge. "Do you hear that?" Claire called out suddenly. I stopped, listening. At first I thought it was just the wind, but then I caught it. A faint, high-pitched sound. It wasn't the natural howl of the storm, but something more deliberate, more mournful. "It's probably just the wind," I said, though the unease in my chest was growing. "No," Claire said, shaking her head. "It sounds like someone crying." The sound grew louder, a long, keening wail that sent chills down my spine. "We should check outside," Claire suggested, reaching for her coat. "Are you insane?" I hissed. "Who goes outside during a storm because of a creepy noise?" But Claire was stubborn. Reluctantly, I followed her onto the porch. The moment we stepped outside, the wailing stopped. The silence was worse. We scanned the yard, our flashlights cutting through the rain and dark. Nothing. Just the swaying trees and the rustling of leaves. "See? Nothing," I said, ready to head back inside. Then we saw her. Near the old apple tree stood a figure. At first it looked like a woman draped in tattered gray fabric that fluttered in the wind. Her long, silver hair glistened, but her face was hidden in shadow. "What the hell is that?" Claire whispered, clutching my arm. The figure lifted her head, and the shadows peeled back, just enough to reveal her eyes. Dark, hollow pits that seemed to drink in the night. Her mouth opened, and that terrible wail erupted again, louder now, cutting through the storm like a knife. I grabbed Claire's arm, pulling her back inside. We bolted the door, hearts pounding. "What was that?" she gasped. "A banshee," I whispered, though I could hardly believe it myself. The wailing stopped for a while, but the tension in the air was suffocating. Then the lights flickered and went out. "Perfect," Claire muttered, lighting a candle. The wailing started again, but this time it wasn't coming from outside. It was upstairs. Claire and I exchanged a terrified look. "We have to check," she said. "Are you out of your mind?" I hissed, but she was already moving. Reluctantly, I followed her to the attic door, where the wailing seemed to draw us. The moment Claire opened the door, the sound stopped. Candlelight flickered across the room, revealing the figure standing in the center. It was her, the banshee. Up close, she was horrifying. Her face was sunken, her mouth unnaturally wide, and her hollow seemed to pierce through us. "What do you want?" Claire asked, her voice trembling. The banshee raised one skeletal hand and pointed toward a dusty trunk in the corner. With shaking hands, we opened the trunk and found a bundle of old letters, yellowed with age. The name on them sent a chill through me, Margaret O'Shea. "They're addressed to Grandma," Claire whispered. The letters revealed a tragic story. Grandma had loved a man her family forbade her to marry. She had written him letters, begging him to run away with her. The final letter, unopened, was addressed to her. "She must have died before she got it," Claire said softly. The banshee stepped closer, her skeletal fingers trembling as Claire placed the unopened letter on the floor. Slowly, the banshee picked it up. For a moment, she stood there, silent, clutching the envelope. Then she was gone, fading into the shadows. The wailing never returned, but sometimes, on quiet nights, I swear I can hear a faint, mournful hum in the wind, as if she's still out there, finally at peace,